I was going to talk about how I made the blanket, this chenille yarn lap blanket, and with granny squares. And this is really the first one that I made this way. And it all started off with, I had 7 skeins of just chenille. You see it upside down, I guess. From the Dollar Tree Premier Yarn. My niece gave them to me for Christmas, maybe 4 years ago or something. And she knew that, that I knit and crochet. But at the time, I'm not using any synthetic yarns or anything. So I didn't really touch it. And, because my business, I was busy, making other hats and all that. But so I'm thinking I'm going to use it someday, somehow. Kind of like somebody who carves wood. They find a nice piece of wood and they put it aside, but they don't really know yet what they're going to make with it. So I'm in the process of cleaning up my my yarn stash and all that. I'm trying to get rid of stuff. I mean, it's just, the house is just too cluttered. I need to get rid of things. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I sell these on eBay. But then I was like, nah, it's kind of not worth it. I already have it. But the reason why I never made anything with it was because I had literally 6 different colors. Not these, one of these, but this is just the example. 6 different colors. I'm like, what can I do with 6 different colors? I have like OCD plus ADHD, but everything for me has to be a pattern that is pleasing to the eye. I can't just like randomly throw stuff together. It has to make some sense. So I said, well, let me see if I can find any kind of pattern that I could incorporate this. So then I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll just do granny squares. And basically I wanted to optimize. Like, I didn't want to buy extra yarn. I wanted to get rid of the yarn that I had, and I wanted to absolutely optimize to just end up with as little, waste as possible. Like, for example, with the purple, I only have like this much left. So I started with a basic granny square pattern, and I'll put a link in the description of where I went to the Premier Yarn website, but I'll put a link, and they had a big blanket. And I was like, well, this is kind of too big for my purposes, but I'm just going to start working on it. So I started to make, one square. First, I just did a plain one. Because that's easy, you don't have to switch any yarns. And then I started to incorporate different colors. And I did have 2. I started off with 1.5 of black. So I had more of the black than any of the others. So I decided to, for example, as I said, I made as many full ones of the same color as I could get out of it. Well, this is the back side. Who wants to see the back side? All right. And then, so I have of each color, I have at least 2 full ones. And then I started to play around with, like inversed, black main, and then with the blue, or then with the blue and then some black. So I just kind of started doing it. Then I had a stack of, I guess initially, how many colors did I have? I started off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, so the black and then 5 other colors. And I decided not to do a full black one, but just use the black in, you know, to kind of like tie it all together color-wise. So I then ended up with how many squares? I guess I had 5. 4 times 5, 20 maybe? Is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. 4 times 5. So I had 20. So I was like rearranging them in different ways. First I had just 16. I stopped at 16. But then I was like, this kind of looks weird. You know, a blanket 4 by 4 kind of looks weird. So I just kept going until I had all the yarn used up, which I ended up at 20. I tried to arrange it, and 4 by 5, you know, in the width 4 and in the length 5. But then I was like, yeah, it's kind of small. And then I went to the store and I needed to get more black anyhow. I started to run out of black, and then I saw this color and I was like, oh, let me get some of that. I kind of like that color. And I made another 4 in this color. So now I guess we had a 4 times 6, so 24. And I'll as I said, I was playing around with the arrangement. I took some pictures and I'm gonna throw them in here or on both sides. And I just thought I was talking without recording. That would have been bad. And okay, so and then I realized, okay, so then I went ahead and because of my OCD and because I'm somewhat lazy, the one thing with the granny square type, and luckily I only have 2 colors, you end up with a lot of ends, really. So also, I never made a granny square blanket before, and I do realize it's probably not for me because there's nothing more than what I hate more is than weaving in ends. I will figure out, I miles and miles, so I do not have to weave in any ends because I just hate it. And that's one of the big advantages of crochet. Usually you can just, you know, as you go along, you can just take it along with you, and at the end maybe you only weave in 1 or maybe 2 and that's it. But with the granny square here, it's just not, it wasn't possible. All right, so, and then, of course, most people recommend sewing the granny squares together, hand sewing. I was like, no. It's not going to happen with me. It's like, no, I will, unless I can machine sew it together, I will not hand sew it together. So I'm like, there must be a way of how I can actually crochet these, you know, together. And that's exactly what happened. I found a stitch that stitch is called flat stitch. And I will again link maybe the video that I saw how to you know, bring these different pieces together. And the way it goes, you dive into or dig into one and then put into the other one, and then you do a what is it called? Like a loop? No. See, I think I read in English and German and everything combined. And I know what I'm doing, but I have a hard time talking about it. Because, you know, obviously I don't like crochet and talk and crochet and talk. I just, it's all in my head. So flat stitch, like the loop, the air. In German, these are called Luftmaschen, so air loops, but they're not air loops in English. Anyhow, doesn't matter. So, yeah, so I sewed them all. And as I'm sewing, you know, or pseudo sewing, as I'm like crocheting these different pieces together, I would take in the ends, so let them, so that way I can kind of avoid some of them, and to sew them in separately. So, and the way I did it, I did it in the, along these, what's it called? Not lengthwise, but width. The width I did first. And then, so I had 6 stripes of different colors. And then I arranged them again. And then I did the lengthy ones, the long one. So as I was done, I realized the blanket for me was a little bit too narrow. So I decided to add on, I don't know if you can see this, again, the back side. Well, it doesn't matter because I went back and forth. So I added on 3 more, or is it 4? No, 3 more single crochet. No, it's double crochet. 3 more rows of double crochet. Back and forth I went. And again, I could tie in more of the ends. But no, first I just did the one row all around the blanket with single crochet, and that allowed me to take in more of the ends, because remember, I'm lazy, or I just can't handle sewing, hand sewing, or I have done embroidery too, but sewing is just, I don't know, it's an unnecessary evil to me. Yes, so one time around, and then I decided to add on the side again to optimize, because I still had some yarn left, and I was like determined, I'm not going to buy any more yarn whatsoever. I'm just not going to. Yeah, so then finally this whole project is finished, and it came out pretty nice, I have to say. I'm like pretty impressed with myself for never having done this before. I mean, I've been crocheting since, let me see, 40 years. 50 years. My goodness. Time flies when you're having fun. 50 years. Yeah, for 50 years I have been crocheting, but I have never, this is the first one for me. And yeah, at first I thought I was going to do a baby blanket, but I just kept going, and so finally, it turned into a lap blanket. Now my older son, he's like, oh, I like this. It's so nice and soft and fluffy. So now he wants me to make him another one, but I will, but probably not granny square. I'm gonna have to figure something else out, because I don't mind making these squares. That I'm okay, but with this, I don't know. I'm gonna maybe a summer beach project. Where, I'm just sitting and doing, not think I have to do some sort of production. See, that's the thing. When you're like a professional knitter or crocheter, you're always in production mode. I'm like, I can't, this is taking too much time. It's like, I have to finish. I have to do this. Nah. I'm like, no, you're doing this for relaxation. Okay, this is not something you're in production mode right now. You're just, So, yeah. That's all. I mean, basically, what did this cost? So the original yarn was free. That was 16, and then I bought 3 more, 2 black and one of this to finish it off. So $1.25 times 3 is $3.75. There we go. I think, I mean, if you're interested, let me know, but I can do more, basically Dollar Tree, just knitting and crocheting from Dollar Tree material. If that's something interests you, I can show you some stuff. I have knitted hats just using Dollar Tree yarn. I mean, comes out okay. Personally, I prefer natural fibers. For my business, the stuff that I sell online, and yeah, we don't need to, that's another video. for now we're okay. And then I thought I might show you, give you a little hint of something else I'm working on right now. So it does look like a leg. Hint, hint, hint. So something with a leg I'm making. I'm already learning stuff. I have never made like an amigurumi. I've knitted projects before, but I have never made an actual amigurumi. And one thing I'm learning is clearly I need a smaller needle size because you want to avoid the see-through here. All right. So that's going to be my prototype, and I'm going to, keep you updated on how it goes. All right. So again, this is going to be for my older son. We compromised, instead of doing the blanket, that I'll give him an amigurumi, what's it called, doll, or no, I don't want to say too much because then now it would not be a surprise. But so I'm living and learning with this. Also, yeah. So yeah, I hope you're gonna have a fantastic week, and I hope you enjoyed this video a little bit. So try, seriously, just try, just do stuff, doesn't matter, just try. All right, and I talk to you later. Bye. Spring impressions from my walk this morning.